Welcome to the Funny Enough podcast, where we're always living out loud.
I'm your host, Zai.
And I'm your host, Jeffrey.
And today we're going to be talking about toxic relationships. Okay, so before we get started, I didn't pull this up earlier, so let me do this now. The definition of toxic relationships, just so we know what we're talking about. Because when I talk about toxic relationships, I'm talking about, people that just don't understand how to involve themselves in another relationship without
some level of toxicity.
Without some level of growth.
Oh, okay.
So, let me see. And y'all bear with us. This is our first episode. This is episode 1. And can I just say it's so exciting?
It is.
It's so exciting to finally be here. Multiple computers, multiple things happening, but I'm super excited. Anyways, so the urban definition, which you know because we're going to do that one because we're urban. And that one says a relationship between two or more people who are constantly fighting or on thin ice with each other, but trying to maintain the relationship. Okay, so they're more talking about within a toxic relationship itself and holding on to something that is not beneficial to you, that. I'm talking about more so the person and that person being toxic.
Yeah.
Which we don't necessarily need. We don't need that because, So, what's something that comes to mind when you think of toxic relationships?
Well, when I think of it, I mean, and I say this all the time, I've had more toxic relationships than normal, good, healthy ones, honestly.
That's terrible.
I mean, it is what it is, though. You know, dating young or whatever, you just start getting into stuff and it just gets toxic. You can't get out. Everyone tells you, just leave, just leave, just leave. It's never that easy to just actually get all your shit or whatever and leave and be done and never talk to that person ever again. Mm-hmm. If you've put in months or a year, it just makes it hard. I mean, that's what I think of, just the pull that you just cannot leave. You can't just leave like everyone tells you to do. That's what I initially think of.
And that's kind of the same thing as the urban definition. For me, I definitely think of more so the person, because I think we both are individual people coming together to, balance each other out, but also support each other in the relationship. And you can't do that if one person is, so involved in themselves where it becomes toxic for the relationship. One person is literally trying to hold things together, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
And the other person is just not. That's toxic to me. But we'll get into that a little bit more in a few minutes. So, I guess that was the example. So you can go ahead with your story first.
Well, I think the most toxic one was probably my ex, who is no longer here. So I don't want to be too negative, speaking on someone that is not here. But that probably was the most toxic it's ever been because, I mean, just never seeing a way out, ever. I mean, all my friends...
Well, that was crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
that whole situation.
All my friends could have told me, all my family could have told me. Nobody could make me leave. I mean, I just could not get rid of him. And then he cheated for the third time while living with me because he had nowhere to go. That was it for me because I just thought, you're going to cheat on me? You know what I mean? Right. Me. And you're living under my roof? Right. How dare you?
Right.
So, stuff like that, I'll never do that again, But when it pulls at your heartstrings, that makes it toxic too,
Right.
And it pulled at my heartstrings because I couldn't just let him be on the street, I couldn't let anybody just be on the street. I would never let that happen. But, I mean, I think that was the most toxic it has probably ever been for me, my relationship with my ex. And this was 3 years ago probably. So I mean, obviously I'm out of it now, but I mean, yeah, I would say that is like the worst it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Just seeing no way out. And almost being like, if there is no way out, I just felt screwed, you know?
Yeah.
Just felt stuck and screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I think that's probably about the worst it's ever been, like 3 years ago.
Well, I think you and I both know what I'm about to say.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a very, very recent toxic relationship example. Because, you know, that situation in itself was rotten.
Yeah.
Yeah, that person came into my life at a very vulnerable time for me where I was literally kind of, you know, trying to do what I'm doing now. I was trying to get a podcast going. I was trying to get music going. I was trying to do so many different things while also balancing work and life and maintaining my home and whatnot. And this person came at that time when, you know, we had a mutual friend. We had a mutual person that was a mutual situation. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
And that situation got messy very quickly. And I chose for myself and my health to remove myself from that. But, you know, I think at that time I made a poor choice. Because of that situation, I was like, well, it made me more comfortable with that person very quickly, and it made me somewhat, I guess, you know, gain some amount of trust for that person very quickly. And so much so that they, you know, literally moved to the state and we just hit it off from there, which I would normally not do, like, in any case, and I've never done. But in that situation I did, because of that mutual person and the situation we were in. And, you know, it got to the point where it bit me in the behind. And that's okay. We learn from lessons and
absolutely.
stuff. But I think at the time, you know, I was just so, like, I was trying to stifle all the, like, negativity and, like, oh, like, we're moving too fast. Oh, I don't care. Like, oh, you know, I don't really know him that well. I don't care. Like, oh, what if this, what if that? Like, I knew all of those things might happen, but I was not necessarily focused on it. I was just ignoring it and, you know, listening to what this person was telling me, which was just lies, because at the end of the day, they were lying. They were manipulating other people, using me, cheated on me. But we're not gonna get into that. But yeah, you know, it was just really, really bad. And I did not see that happening in my 2023 necessarily. So, you know, I made sure to declare myself this year. If you can't see me on the audio, no. We're not doing that in 2024. 2024, we are living our best life. We are focusing on ourselves and our health and our wealth.
Yes. Period on the wealth, please. Period on the wealth. Oh, please. Yeah, I mean, and you know, knowing you the way I do, it's just like, it was so not like you, but at the same, no, it wasn't. That relationship
all
was
my best
not
friends
like.
Were like, no, we don't think
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
But you know, like I said, I couldn't have told you shit. That's why I didn't say shit all the time. You know, excuse my French. So sorry, I have the filthiest mouth. But I mean, I couldn't have told you what to do. I mean, if you knew me when I was with my ex 3 years ago, you couldn't have told me either.
Right.
I mean, and it's just something about being
we
in
just do dumb shit sometimes.
We do, and I think
we're dumb and we're broke.
We're
not broke. Because
I am. I am broke.
But yeah, you know, it was definitely an experience. Something probably I would never do again.
Because now you know red flags to look for also.
Funny enough, that same person came to my, oh my god, if you hear my dog, I'm so sorry. Came to my door and, you know, tried to apologize to me and was just like, you know, I realized after literally months. I realize now that everything I did was just so wrong. The way I treated you was just so bad, and I just blah 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 blah. And like, I was just like, I've already,
moved on.
forgotten you.
Yeah.
Like, I was shook as that he was there. They were there. But they, I just did not expect that, the whole conversation that took place, but I was not necessarily like, I hate you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't hate people. I don't hold grudges. I was just like, I blocked you for a reason, and I moved on.
Yeah.
And I think that is for the best.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you coming by, letting me know those things. But as far as like anything else, I have nothing else to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think in that of itself is growth for me, because any other dumb would have backslid, would have blah blah blah, would have listened to
absolutely
whatever,
would have kept it going.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do that, and I'm not gonna do that. So
yeah.
I think that was definitely a lesson learned and an area of growth for me
to
take into my next relationship.
Yeah. I think even for mine, like, I'm so funny now about people that, like, if you don't have a whip, you can't talk to me. You know what I mean? I'm funny about that now, because he didn't. Like, he didn't have a car. He didn't have nothing. But I was okay with that. I was like, this is my man, and we're going to ride till the wheels fall off.
Right.
But that's kind of, I think, how we both are. I mean, that's my person, and we're going to ride till the wheels fall off. But, I mean, when someone kind of, like a typical scorpion, they always have to turn around and sting you,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not something I think will ever happen again. I'll never say never. I mean, I could get caught in something like that again and feel like I can't get out when I'm 50. But I think for now, I've had my fair share. I think I've learned all I can learn. I've had every form of toxicity. So, I think I've taken all I can take from them.
Yeah.
Take the bad, the good with the bad, and
right.
I mean, hell, what else can you do?
Well, we're gonna take a little break here to say Happy Valentine's Day. Even though this episode is not airing on Valentine's Day, it is airing, I think, a few days after, and so we do want to say Happy Valentine's Day to the lovely couples out there. I see y'all. Y'all are great. My LGBTQ couples out there. We love y'all. We see y'all. And to my single people out there, represent.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. And
at all. For real. At all.
So much so that we have something. Where the bag at?
Oh.
We have some stuff here.
One?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we're celebrating Valentine's Day.
Period.
Single
exclamation point.
We have our balloons. We have our candies with some.
Thank you. Oh, adorable.
And then we have lollipops.
I don't need to be eating candy, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
So I'm probably gonna leave these for
no, we're not.
Literally write on it, and we can put like.
Yes. Yeah. No, we're not leaving.
I don't know. Okay. But yeah, we just want to say Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, Happy Valentine's Day.
Share the love.
It doesn't always have to be about your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever.
It does not always have to be about couples. It's not a depressing holiday. I don't know how many people have told me, like, oh, this day is so depressing, like, I hate it because I never have a Valentine.
Whatever.
I never have a Valentine
I'm
either.
my own, honey. Nobody shops better for me than me. And I love sitting at home and watching I Love New York on VH1 on Valentine's Day. That's what I do every year. I watch I Love New York. And I don't give a shit. I don't.
I did want to say...
Men give me a headache, so what...
For the oh my god, I cannot say this word. Sabino Recovery says tips on how to avoid a toxic relationship. It's essential to recognize the early warning signs such as lack of respect, constant negativity, controlling behaviors, and a persistent imbalance of effort, which you and I both know that effort thing does like really, really affect a relationship, because if you're really, really trying, despite working 2 jobs, despite being in school, despite doing this, that, and the other, and you make time out of your day to do this, that, and the third, I feel like that person should be doing that same thing.
I would agree.
I
feel like I always get financially taken advantage of. Like I just said, I'm broke, but I feel like I always get financially taken advantage of more than, or you know what? I would say I get emotionally taken advantage of more. You know, like 3 incidents over last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would say that's even toxic.
And that's what it says, like, you know, establishing strong personal boundaries
are
very important, which you and I both know I'm very good about setting my boundaries.
Yes.
As an Aries, they can call me mean or whatever, but setting your boundaries is not mean. Everyone deserves respect. Everyone deserves respect for your body.
Yes.
And, you know, that's what we preach on this podcast over here.
Yeah. And their choices, all that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, people, what do we say? Live out loud. I mean,
living out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
Trademark. Okay. Next we're gonna talk about we talked about everything pretty much. Oh, where we are now, what we learned.
You wanna go first?
Yes. From me, I learned that, you know, do not start dating someone that you just met a month ago.
Yeah.
Also, do not let everyone into your home.
Or give them your address.
Okay.
For real.
Yeah. Like,
Don't be
it's
giving out
called
the addy.
having a date, meeting in public. It's called, you know, and we all know there's the booty calls and stuff like that. But, you know, that's where we establish some, you know, preference.
Yeah.
Having people that have, you know, something for themselves. Like, I know not everyone has their own place at my age, you know,
of course, yeah,
and whatnot. But you know, having that freedom, you know, is beneficial towards a relationship, because if you, like, you know, living with somebody, then, you know, of course you're not going to want to go over there, and then they have to come over to your place, and then that, you know, separate, that you're going to exchange some energy. And so, you know, you can't always, you have to protect your energy. You can't always, you know, some people you're talking to online, you can't always meet them. Y'all can't be sleeping with everybody.
Yeah, no.
You know, because it carries into your, you know, next relationship. You really have to set boundaries and make sure you're cleansing your palate, so that you're not taking that baggage into your next relationship.
I agree 1,000,000%. I mean, and that's so hard to do, honestly, because it'll screw with your trust more than anything. You know, my trust is very messed up from mine.
Yeah,
my trust is very messed up. Like,
I don't trust nobody.
Yeah, like I barely believe directions on like waffles.
What?
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
I don't even know if this is true.
Right.
But for real, I mean, it will destroy your trust, and that's hard to rebuild. That's why, like, I'm taking my break. You know, because I have to rebuild certain things that got broke last year. I have to do work and rebuild my trust myself and whatever.
And I do want to be clear, it's not just, you know, we want to say it's not just intimate or sexual or, you know, romantic relationships that can be toxic. You can have toxic family members.
Oh my gosh.
You can have toxic friends. This fruits. Okay. You can have anyone that can be toxic, just like anyone can be a good person. And so, you know, you do need to identify those traits, and you don't need to always hang around or be, you know, exchange energy with those people, because that carries. And, you know, that's why, you know, friend groups and things like that, you always have to make sure you know who you are surrounded by. You know who you are.
Absolutely.
You know, because I don't talk to everybody. I don't talk to. I'll just say that I don't talk to everybody.
Yeah. No, I don't either. I mean, I have like 3 people. You know, you're one of them. That's really it for me. I mean, I'm cool. I'm cool with my 3 people, though. I love my 3 people. Yeah, I don't need anybody. Yeah, the pinned people. Like, I don't need anybody else, and I'm not worried about it. But absolutely, friendships can be toxic too.
Yes.
Absolutely, and especially whenever I feel like I take on other people's stuff, their energy. You know, so it takes So it takes a lot for me to sit there and really listen to someone, because I'm taking all that on. I'm getting pissed with you or I feel like I might cry seeing someone cry, or whatever. It's a lot. I mean, friendships can be a lot, but they're just like, relationships with, your person that you are sexual with or whatever. You have to put in the work. That's what they always say. Put in the work.
Yes.
But I mean, I think you and I have been victims of the toxic thing.
Yes.
I really do.
Yeah.
I think we both
prime
examples.
Wounds you too, like when you
Absolutely.
are hurt so many times, when you do experience so many negative people, like people call you hoe, people call you bouncing around, people call you not, a good.
Yeah.
You can't have a constant or relationship or something, but. People will say what they want, but I know at the end of the day what I learned from each of my experiences. I know who I am as a person. I know that I am a good person. I know that I tried in all of my relationships. I know that. And so I can walk away with that and take that into my next relationship, but not necessarily take that baggage. And, there are things that I had to work on in those relationships, and you take those and you actually work on them, and it definitely helps. But I think it's important to remember that not everything is. Actually, I'm not gonna say that.
Well, I'll say access should be earned. Not be free. Access. You know what I mean by that? Yeah. Access to certain things should not just be free.
Right.
People need to work a little, or they will for me in the
Y'all
future.
Practice safety.
Oh yeah, practice.
We
safety.
promote that on this podcast.
Beyond. If my bag was
Safety.
over here, I would show you.
Condoms.
Yeah.
We promote that.
I always have those. Always.
Well, y'all
Doesn't matter about
for Valentine's Day. Make sure you do and protect the health.
Act like it's raining and wear rubbers.
LOL. I think we pretty much covered everything. We have 5 minutes left, but yeah. So I did want to talk about the next week. So in this podcast, we're definitely going to try and release every Friday. We're recording ahead of time, so that's why we're celebrating Valentine's Day early. And so our next episode will be discussing birthdays and best friends. We might even have a special guest. I don't know yet, but stay tuned for that. It might even be somebody's birthday. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone that is going to tune in to
Absolutely.
the YouTube. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Anywhere you have your podcast, we will be. Make sure you listen, stream, watch our videos, subscribe, like, comment, and share, and support the Funny Enough podcast. We do appreciate you. We love you.
Absolutely.
And
love.
Thank y'all so much. For the people that follow me, thank you so much for being patient. I do have a lot of stuff coming, music, all that. It's just a lot. I have a lot.
He's working on a lot, y'all.
It's a lot going on in my personal life, and I don't put everything on my story. So,
Right.
Right. I do have to make sure I adhere to that, but I do have a lot of stuff coming, and I'm very excited about it.
I'm very excited for the stuff you have coming too. I am. I'm very excited for the stuff that you have coming.
Yes. But thank you so much, everyone, for listening. And I was going to put a little closeout thing, but I don't know how to do that right now. So we're going to work on that on the next episode. But we're just going to say bye.
Bye.
Until next week.
Until next week.
Bye.